umkhusane uvuliwe. Ndicebisa ukuba sihoye umsebenzi wosuku. Le ngelo xesha sinazo ne-subtitles asiqiniseke.
Kaqhuba ngathi wenza ipoem yazi. Hey, but guys, if this thing is real, man, when we're gonna have like a poop house floating around us. So
don't poop house.
A poop house, literally poop house, a toilet. The future has already arrived. Now you do not need to run and look for a public toilet. Our services allows you to call the toilet like a taxi. Tariffs available, economy, comfort, and business.
Thank you.
Into ifumana phi le?
Di-order poop house.
So ifika ngohlobo lika Uber.
Yeah.
So bane-app ye-toilet.
So it's shaped like a drone. So it floats around and finds whoever you're at. Fiki land.
Where is this? In which country is this happening already?
I'm not sure.
Not a toilet, a land.
I'm not sure.
I feel like theme song, yeah, if I go toilet, land, and then it too, you know it has arrived.
But guys, I think it would be a nice idea. Come na bendicinga ear driver, always bandine app like an Uber app. So I call the Uber toilet. Yabo, udriver trailer le way yafika uyamisa ndingena toilet, I do my thingy okanye ndifuna noyenda wena ethile so ndicombine i-service yabo. As I am going to shoot the podcast ndiyasuka phe Blora Bay ndihlela phe toilet yabo.
No, that's why.
Imagine go wehlela i-car accident look toilet. Oh my.
But it's convenient because the public toilets is zingaphi saziyo as right.
But Ivan, it's out to poop on the go.
Poop on the go.
I know. For me.
It could work.
But where will they be stationed though? That's another thing. Because if Mkhamdi sit down head of the offices and then Usemother well somewhere there and you're like, okay, now I need to call poop on the go.
They'll be moving around. Uber. Ubers are always moving around. Uzafaka pa app to 1 minute.
2 minutes.
Arriving in 2 minutes. Yabala la way. Monday turned.
And then okay, no ambis. But guys, that's a story for another thing. Sima, she's like really pondering this thing. She's ready to invest.
I think another invention efunekayo ananobe seyikhona na but kwi-phone zethu ne engasikube khona into protector screen from uba sithatheke, a kid friendly thing. My niece who is 18 months old, I'm the number. Ubukela la Cocomelon atofe ifone aphume kule Cocomelon aphinda kunika ifone for ba umbuyisela Cocomelon umbuyisela aphinda amcime thiqomba no
mayihlale pha Cocomelon
angakwazi utha athe thatha khona yenzekayo.
Oh, it's like you be locked in if you tell ufuna game you be locked in kule ifunayo ayinganceda ke na kwi pictures because people into le bangela uthi xa ubonisa umuntu ipicture ascroll uyaphi jonga lento uzoyijonga apha.
I don't know, like ziyakwenzeka wethu ezwe.
No, kundweba kwabantu. Yeah man, welcome to another special edition. It's an epic one. Any protest?
I know why ndim protester la special because wawuthoza ukhangela synonyms.
Okay.
Yes, I remembered yesterday, but why can I need to protest a special? Well, tell okay, is synonyms. No, it's 10. Umane go rotator. Akafi, kill away. Yabo.
Okay. I'll go to my app right now and check it. And the dictionary.
So I guess there's nothing special about your phone.
This is Yakim Mavulak. Welcome to Ephondweni Podcast. I'm not flying solo as always. I'm with the certified gatekeeper.
Yimavulama gate. Yimavulama gate. Ivinyango nama gate. Bavumelena abantwana bese kum ningabaleli ngokuba ubukumkani be podcast boba. That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, man. But today we have a very special person, magnificent. Andiyazi ke untsika kuthethele.
Kodwa nesipecial Ntsika wahleka. Ntsika.
Sifuna za synonyms special.
The magnanti saphele pha ku special guys.
The magnificent.
English yami yasesikolweni saselokishini. Yabo magnificent. Child in the field. She's young, but she's culture forward, pushing the boundaries. She's a TikTok fiend. Yeah. The great and vibrant Sima Fiyo. You good, Sima?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
All is good, man. Thank you for heeding the call.
We are still here.
Yeah.
I'm irritated with winter, that's all.
Same.
And understand, I think let's make our millions so that winter time start to leave.
100% ndifuna ufana nomamkhize mna.
Yeah.
Apha kukwisama khona ndifuna uba pha.
Yeah.
This thing of ukodola, like uziqothe ebhedini. No. You're obliged to take a bath before ulale because ufuna retain your warmth.
Comfortable.
No.
But isn't it better about kubande guys kunoba kube shushu? Because xa kushushu noma ungakhulula uhambe yaze still kushushu. You still won't know uba mawenze ntoni ngesiqu sakho. Xa kubanda ungalight heater wombathe.
Yeah, like guys ndiyayithanda winter but ndiyithandela uhlala endlini. No, to bendi hustlisha ndiyokhangela imali egrosara. Yabona la way?
Okay.
Afuna ukhala imali egrosara nge-winter. And winter we back to my childhood. Denza zanto zifani. Yabona zanto zenza winter? Like i-adults ezikwaziyo ukwenza right, zivuke, zingene eshowerini with ease. Ndiyazicongratulator. I envy them. Mna ndikwazi. Mna kubana ngaba ndimanagile. Ngalo i-winter ndiyakhetha usuku lohlamba ba namhlanje akho need. Yabo? Manibethe nje VIP.
Yes. And then you call it a day.
I go on with my day. Ndithambisa indawo ezivelileyo. Do you guys remember those times? Uvuka kusasa umama kuqonda shit sisikolo again. Ndibetha nje indawo ezivelileyo. Unxiba ihlangu, thambisa za gaps. Ndenza zanto nge-winter mna. Namhlanje ndizibhaqe ndifake i-toner ebusweni andikahlambi.
Because you're ready to get started with your day. I'm judging. You know what? Side eye to that. Side eye. Do you know what that means?
My reality.
Do you know what that means? Under the side eye go.
I know. Mntana.
Oh, well done. High five. High five. High five.
Unalento ke lo mntana. Unalento ke lo mntana asimazi TikTok asizazi.
No, you know what it is. Now, when I hang out with elderly people.
That's ageism.
Identify.
We don't identify. We don't relate to what you're saying. Like we are 40,
but young at heart.
As 15.
But young at heart.
Young at heart. Since 15, that's how we identify.
Oh wow. Well,
yeah.
Okay,
this
then
is the age of identity.
I guess
identify.
I get that, but okay, well done to you guys. I think at this point I identify as us.
Yeah.
Dingo us
when
it's up Ephondweni, like dingo us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, lovely.
Beautiful, man.
Thanks for coming through, Sim.
Thank you so much to you guys for inviting me. I was so surprised.
Why wouldn't we have you?
I don't know. What I mean is I was like really surprised and actually really excited to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the place for movers and shakers. It's the place also for celebrating who we are and what we do. And in as much as at some point, Tina, we think we are ordinary, bakhona abantu that will find us extraordinary.
That's true.
Because that's what we do on a daily. But actually, people need to hear who we are, what we do, our stories, so that they can be moved to do something for themselves.
True.
So it had to be you.
Oh, wow. I'm honored, guys. Yeah.
Surprised.
You are moving and you're shaking.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning, man. Ukhulele phi man? Elalini okanye ukhulele ngaphi? Gqeberha.
Umna originally ndingowaseQonce. Ilali zam kukwa Masingatha nase Tamaga. Yeah, that's where I grew up. That's where I was born. That's where I grew up. But then ke up ekhuleni kwam, because a lot of people, when I tell them bana ngwaseQonce, they look at me, they're like, "Ayibo side eye." What? I know it's because ndandingilamntana ne ukhulele elalini, but then wafunde town. Like by the time I was 5, already bendise town. Yabo, then I boarding school, which made it worse. So in as much as I'm rooted as Lalini, but I feel like as in the Kula, this boarding school, difunda nabantu abamhlophe, as angcambu, zikhona, but ndingayibeka kanjani? They're there, but they're not like
It's not as entrenched.
Yes.
Now talking about schooling and also going to, I'll call them multiracial schools. Bakhona belungu eQonce. Zange ndabona umntana umlungu unxiba uniform eQonce. Ndihlele eQonce ndiphangele ebhisho.
Bakhona Shem, but I think bakhona, but I think you know what it is, ne? Abantu abahlala eQonce ngabantu abaretirishileyo nabantu abanemali and ne-movers and shakers, so they don't really have time to be babying their kids, so a lot of their kids base boarding school. So that's what it is. And also, as you know, like izikole ezininzi ziyamoshakala yabo, so like your AHS, KHS, your Dale, asekho as prestige as they used to be. Yabo. So then abantwana babo babase kwezinye izikolo that they feel like they still uphold that standard. I'm not saying bane Dale asekho njalo, but kuyathetha into ekhoyo in the air.
Who's offended? Ufunde Dale?
Yo.
But also tell me, when do you think Dale is a la Dale or is she? It's not. Yeah. Unfortunately.
No, but what contributes to London? Because public schools, you expect, okay, yizo, kopapa action, bazafika bathini. Dale nezinye izikolo ezi.
Dale is not a private school.
What is it? Is it a public school?
It's a public school.
But it's just a college. So Landia
is public school, unless it's not a private school, it's a college.
What?
Just call us the whole band. I think also what contributes to that might be lando yabazala bamove abantwana babo to private schools to yabona yonke lando, so fumanisa ba ke ngoku kushiyeka well
yeah
so then the move from from eQonce to eGqeberha yenzeke nini? Was it informed by you wanting to be closer to all the stuff that you love, you can't find? Is Lalin?
It had nothing to do with me, first of all, because after grade 2, then I boarding school. So at 9, when other people were still with their kids, then they said boarding school to pillar independently.
Hey girl.
Literally, as a 9-year-old, I had to take care of myself. And then grade 4, and I boarding school still. And then in 2012, Abazalbam, they moved up Epai officially. And Okonda Kula, I had never lived with my parents. I always had to be at my granny's place, okanye if I'm with my dad, okanye my mom, but then together I've never been because sebens. Then when they finally like settled down, they were like, okay, cool. Now we can take the kids to live with us. So only at age 12 did my parents settle down, find a house, and then go namke naturally ke manzohlala nabo and actually get to bond with my parents. Dafunda Greenwood. I'm a Green Star.
From Greenwood too?
Why you like?
No, there's a thing about that school.
Good one.
From Greenwood too?
VP. I'm a Victorian.
Tifuno Valendia said Greenwood.
Good one.
It's a special school of some sort. So I heard.
Greenwood is definitely a special school, yabo, because inalo icala that caters for abantwana abane special needs. Like for example, abantwana abangavi kahle, abantwana bathatha slow. Yes. So then ke ngoku bane section yabo, then ke nathi sibe ne section yethu. Then as umuntu eprogresswa aziswe kwezi classes zethu. If ukule classes zethu and kuyabona mhlambi une challenge onayo, then uswe kwela cala.
Okay, it's
beautiful.
It's absolutely incredible.
That's really beautiful.
I was having this conversation, I can't remember with who the other day, and I was saying I'm so grateful that I went to Greenwood because it exposed me to abantwana bohlukileyo. If I see umntana who's living with the disability, I'm like, okay, we keep it moving. Because abantu bayathanda bajonga abantu abane disability. I'm like, it's very normal to me.
That's really beautiful because it's a conversation I constantly have around disability. I know there's one private school in PE that accommodates abantwana who are visually impaired. And I think it just shifts a life yomntwana or perceived to be able-bodied, right? Whereas you find that at varsity level, when students that have disabilities befika a varsity, a lot of the other varsity students are not used to sharing spaces with them because kind of be exposed. So we really need to congratulate Greenwood for that, yeah? About integrate abantwana. By the time they get to varsity, this is not shocking to their system. They know how to move. They've played with their friends on wheelchairs. Kumnandi. That's really lovely.
And we know how to accommodate them. Like, for example, nowadays, if ubona umntu on a hearing aid, you're like, oh my goodness, what's happening? Ufuna umbuza. Greenwood siyayazi hearing aid by indoni. You know? And if you will, you are equipped bana mawukwazi umlungiselela. Yabo, if ever umntana one ADHD, they being hyperactive and act a certain way, you know what to do to accommodate them.
I love that.
It's beautiful. They're not made like they're inferior in any shape or form.
Because in Greenwood being a special school, but a lot of people, they assume Greenwood is a special case. But what is it?
Also. Yeah.
Because anybody who goes to now, Sima, for instance, when you're walking around and somebody says, I went to somewhere for the Greenwood. Oh, so Sima share money. Okay.
Assumptions are
but then also that's the problem. Why ihlekisa?
Yeah.
You know where the danger is? That's where the danger is.
I think we need to be educated. We need to be educated on these things. And probably Greenwood is in like Ipark forefront. Vanguard of the revolution, because you can't separate people lokokoko and then bazawudibana varsity. If abadibana varsity, emsebenzini for sure bazawudibana, because still lona umntu is living with a disability, they still need to make a living for themselves.
100%.
And because ndingakwazi uhamba, it does not mean I can't think. Ndinezinye speciality and nazo, that could help the whole team. So we need more schools like that.
And I think that's why ilizo lusokola yilando yazazikolo zimissing ezifana neGreenwood, because when you are around, you know, for instance, I'm chilling here with you guys and I can't see, right? Now, when you've moved with me for a while and you establish, it's better man to try nyuka kwi ramp than anyuke kwi stairs. Ngamanye amaxesha uyakwazi ufika earlier kwi venue and be able to say Lelethu is gonna need a ramp here. Or you've always just got that in mind quicker than a person who's never been exposed to it. So iyenza ke ngoku kube lula ba sikwazi urepresentana. Singayofika kwi meeting yakamasipala sifike sihleli pha kukhutshwe i-agenda of the day on paper. You would even when make sure there's one on paper, make sure there's one on soft copy, and so that you have made provision for all people.
Yes.
So I really like that.
Love that.
Back to Sima.
Yeah.
Run away with that one.
So the adjustment then, being independent as a 9-year-old, now you coming through living with parents. How was that adjustment?
It was very easy because umamam kababazali bana dizele wena kwenzela ndizokuthuma andizozenzela ti ukhona. She's that type of parent.
Okay.
So if she needed me to wash the dishes, I just did it.
Okay.
If like young into ndizenzele from the age of 9, like uzayinela, making sure into zam zivasiwe, but then in school I take my things to the laundry. Indenze responsible at a very young age, to a point where I don't want to say my mother did the bare minimum when I was 12, but she kind of did, because I was already equipped. So now
I've been there for 3 years now.
Yes, we are boarding school now. It was a blessing for me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel like I'd be who I am today had I not gone to boarding school.
Will you take your own kids to boarding school up until the age of 12, then get them back?
Hey,
So would you repeat your own life for the benefit of your own children?
I think I would. I definitely would, because as a boarding school, you learn to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you fend for yourself. Like, I remember back in the days, I don't know when I did it back in the days, it was 1,000,000 years ago. but in Gaminyaka, like 2008, mom gave me 200 for inyanga. That was my pocket money. You know how crazy that is? The 200 rand inyanga yonke when I think about it now. But la 200 weekend was for enyangeni, and it down day it was on a Wednesday and on a Saturday. But bana on a Wednesday and it down because in the 50 rand for a Saturday to spend to buy sweets. Can you go to a restaurant? Okay, restaurant the cheap nyanpi athlete. Ufumani mili yako bone and be athlete, not in Nyacha's Bedford, I think.
Oh, Bedford.
Naben say athlete,
okay.
Law school. Nemandia prata no prata, but yan she Africans. So
younger can prat.
Yeah, it can work ne. Yeah. But as I'm saying, like it taught me to bana mandi sasa zimali. Yabo. And quickly, okay, this friend of mine has more money than me, so let's combine. Like I always had a plan. Always had a plan. Like I promise you. So I have to be focused. Yeah.
But it shines through. Even today, when I met you, you were very responsible. About would I want my kids to go directly to a Model C school? Because I started off in Ndombimata, I went to Nsikana Primary, then I went to Pearson High School. And I feel like it just made me a better human being to have experienced as a scholar before going to Pearson. And then I'm balanced as a person. So it's because I'm right, it's right. Dinayola route yodlala when I know myself and kids today don't have that. So I just wanted to check, but do we all think that way about the things our parents gave us? When I came, would you repeat your life?
I just want to say something. Like Indian Warisha and Galon is as much as I'd like them to wambalandle but I'm worried. Like, what if I take my kids to boarding school? Then we don't bond. Then later on, we need to go to therapy. Like, those things, they just scare me. No, I'm trying to equip you up.
Some of the lessons from Mama, I'm sure your mom didn't just leave you there while you see those every now and again.
Yeah.
And also you'll get them back when they're 12. Then then they can make you tea. Then they can, iron their own clothes. Be independent.
Yeah.
Then they can spread their $1,000 for weekends. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get you.
Coffee, how you like it.
Even better than the way I like it.
For me, when I les I'm already not doing it. Because I'm not, like at a young age, my life was not stable.
Yeah.
Because till I've done a lot of schools.
Okay.
I've done a lot of schools. I'll stay for a year here. Like I've done.
So for you,
I've done 7 days. Fixing. I've done Kuplanda, I've done Nomatemba. I've done Ben Snooker. I did a week in Gwengwezini.
Not a week. What a week?
What's going on?
No, I did a week and I came back. I was like, Mom, I'm not coming back. I'm going back to that school. Those kids are mean. And we had a new priority. I did Douglas Mbopa for a week. I went to Maspatsane and then...
Why did you go for a week at Douglas?
I wanted to Maspatsane, but I was late.
Oh.
And then again, inside Douglas. And then it happened. At Douglas that time, man, got inside the Maspatsane, and then I went there because I was a bright kid.
Okay.
That got messed up, Ilogish. So I won't really, repeat
you should not
it.
repeat your life. I agree with you. You should not.
No, I won't repeat it. I won't repeat it.
I guess some of us decide to repeat the same experience. Some of us decide to clean up the experience. And so yours was more to clean it up.
Yeah, because it's very important, stability, more especially for the kids.
Yes.
Because sometimes you don't have those kids who are cool enough. So it's like your best friend since childhood, or you went to school from a very, young age. or konifunda ku-grade A1, you've been all over. Xa nsenye Pride ndiyaziwa, but ngoba ndingabaziyo because I was young while I was there, nasenjoli, uyabo, in all the places endiphile kuzo, kwabanye bengathi ndiphakamile. So I don't want that for my kids. I want stability and right bahlale pha kumamabo or baze kum sihlaleni kunye sinantsike simove. So the love for radio.
Okay, so ilove yam ye-radio ifike ndingekayirealize ne, because I remember when ancestors-lalini ndandimvukela uYo TV ekuseni ndingaphosi tu, because for some reason, like when I watched Uyo TV, I saw myself. I don't know what it was, but it ignited ifire yofuna uba phambi kwabantu, yabo. So I was like, one day I'm going to be on TV.
Who was your favorite there?
I don't even remember. That's the thing. I don't even, my memory is not that great. I don't remember who I saw and I felt like this person, we are inspired. But I just remember just watching presenters on Yo TV, being live, playing around. This container, like one day I just wanted to get in there. Like I don't know, like I really liked the idea. Like what? That's really what I wanted for myself. And then I realized Abana, and I did my research as a 7-year-old, but like, oh, Johannesburg, okay, SABC, oh, Auckland Park. I'm like, okay, this is Lalini. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Then so when I moved to Epai, I remember in 2013, I learned about Impuma Kappa TV, but then Bay TV, Bay TV at the time. And I was like, you know what? It is my time to shine. Let's rock and roll. And it wasn't happening. And then I had a friend of mine in high school, and she was already there. So then she'd invite me as a guest. And the more I went there as a guest, I was like, no, I want to host my own show.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But then invite like no, I can't do that. But at the end of the day, like I knew but not why I was there. And I remember going to my auditions. They had an open call for the first time. Jonga, my first auditions, I sucked. Like, even now, I wouldn't say yes to me.
How young are you at the time?
At the time, but I'm 13.
No experience.
Nothing. Yeah, but first auditions, and then I remember watching Real Talk with ZANELE. I can't remember who she was interviewing because I was captured by what she said. And what she said was that you become a better TV presenter when you start off on radio. The next day in the Kylie radio station. Like, I want to become a great TV presenter. I went there, I auditioned, and I guess the rest is history. And I remember, about a month into radio, I was like, this is it for me. Instead of TV. You remember, at the time, I hadn't even done TV. Then okay, now I'm fast forwarding too much. But I got a TV show, Epi TV, eventually. And I remember while I was doing TV, I was like, Big One Up.
Big One Up, okay.
I was like, this is great, ne? But it's not real for me.
Yeah.
Like if nigga did lights, camera, 3, 2, 1, let's rock. But then at TV, it's real. Even Lila, like I'm really crying. If I say fuck by mistake, then that's it. We can't take it back. It's gone. If I fumble an interview, that's it. So being on radio really made me a better TV presenter, and I cannot wait for my next TV gig because I know I'm going to kill it. Because a radio any one hit wonder, like that's it. There's no time to do that link again. The only thing that you can do is make sure you like your next link is better than the previous one.
So I guess there's a lot of more. Not that there isn't discipline on TV, but it's you focus more on radio.
Yes,
because you have to get it right one time, and therefore by the time you get to TV, uamba discipline you touch radio, and you just want to do it right. I would understand then, Anel.
Yes.
Understand.
And I'm so grateful to the people in the city who have invested in me. Because outside of Upe TV, like so many people have invested in me. For example, Usis Leza. When we did Culture Capital. I mean, Usis Leza. And also, don't believe that abantu bayathanda ukuthi no, don't share your dreams and aspirations. But I believe because if I'm not going to tell you, Yakimba, into endiyifunayo, xa ifikile into endiyifunayo ezandleni zakho awuzoyazi uba mawuyinike mna because awuyazi ndiyifuna and uzawucinga umntu ebethe uyayifuna.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, bro. Uthetha gqithi umlomo wakho will curse you sometimes. Universe.
Yeah. And for mna, I've been fortunate enough to uthetha izinto zami kwabantu abakwazi undinceda. you know? Yeah. And shout out to Jesus Leza. I love you, man.
So have you had like people who you would consider, you know, mentors or who really became compasses in this journey?
100%. Like 100%. I think I think I know I am blessed. Like, and I believe that uThixo xa sidalayo njengoba sidala thina ubomi bethu usidalela abantu who are meant to contribute to ubomi bethu and grow us. People who are going to hold our hand and say, yo, indlela yakho ngayamba ngolhlobo ukuze ibe better.
Yes.
And mina angomntu oneetshomi ezininzi yobo, but I've built important relationships with abantu ababalulekileyo. And I love the fact that nabo bandithanda ngale ndlela endibathanda ngayo. Like for a long time I took igama lam for granted. I always felt like baninzi osima. Were my parents really that lazy? But then when I think about my life and how I've been welcomed into spaces and kondabana mna ligama lam, like ndinguSima for a reason. I remember when I met Leza for the first time, there's something about her that I love so much. And I was like, one day I'm going to work with Lucy's. Back then I was in high school and recite poems. And I was No,
so clap.
Come on. And then I was like, ndiyamthanda man lo sis, one day ndifuna usebenza naye. And then through usis Leza ndadibana nobut Oyama. And for me, like those two people, yeah, man, they're my parents for me in the entertainment space.
Shout out to Oyama Van. He's done a lot of great things.
We still need him here.
Creatives in the city, you know. So he's a great person.
And also, like, not to dwell too much on them, but it's to say that enyinto inkhulisile engqondweni that, okay, abantu that I admire so much, especially Lucy Leza, for example, she's not only an artist, but she's making sure business-wise, she's killing it as well. So I must not be the voice and this pretty face, but also mandenze sure bana business-wise, I'm thriving. I must take myself seriously so that I'm even able to make money outside of just being a broadcaster.
Yes.
And that's what I'm doing right now.
Great.
So
it's the new car shows, eh?
I mean, new whip for the girls.
How did it feel walking out, you know, you bought your first car, you worked for it. How did that feel?
It felt so good. It felt so good. Like even till this day, like when I look at my car, I get so emotional because when I think, and I was like, I get so emotional because I worked for it. You know, I think there's nothing more painful than like writing something down, uyibekele date, ifike la date ungabi nayo, right? And then so when it eventually happens, you're like, whoa, this is so surreal. This is my car, like le moto itimna. Like sometimes I like driving around in places where I used to walk or in places where I used to wait for ujikeleza. It's like namhlanje ngondiza apha, ndidlula pha apha egarage edwese xa ungenayo. I'm like, I used to stand there and but now I'm just driving by. You know, I'm just driving by. You know,
love that.
I think, you know, what I want to ask is it's notable, as you mentioned, where you don't have a lot of friends. You've just got valuable and really important relationships to yourself. In a space where, you know, entertainment industry is about popularity, right? So you find that abantu bahamba ne-clicks abo, they want to make sure that they're seen in particular spaces, they are doing the popular thing to be done, and. What helps you to maintain your sense of self, right? In a space where we're all about what's popping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you almost feel like people think they need to be friends with so and so and so and so and so and so that they can be seen in these right spaces with the right people doing the damn thing.
Umna ndiyazazi ba ndingubani, right? And mna ndiyazazi ba ndibhekaphi. Like dikule ndawo ndikuyo nje namhlanje, I've stayed true to myself, my values and morals. And andizoya popular click because ngicimba iza ndisendaweni ethile. Dangamazi Sis Leza, I didn't have to kiss her to have a relationship dinayo naye namhlanje okanye ubhuti oyama or even wena. Do you understand what I mean? So I don't have to do it. Akhonde different. Afuneke ndinxibe isicebezana and put on makeup, ndinxibe wig, dizenza umuntu endingenguye. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who do that, but that is not me. I'm very, very simple. I'm a very simple girl.
So what are your principles and values as a keeper or grounded?
Like umzekelo mna andiseli, andchayi. Like that's not a thing for me. Like into yobana dibe intoxicated iyandoyikisa. Like the thought of it iyandoyikisa. Like mna I like to be in control.
I think it's control.
Ndithanda control and image yam ibalekile kum. What if umhlambi because of whatever traumas I have ndithi xa ndisele ndigezela abantu ukuzibona abantu ndibe ngumuntu ogezayo kuthiwa yo uyageza lo xa sele
the next thing we are trend
the next thing ndinjalo and I've had many people around me be like just take a shot. I'm like no bro ndimdala athi umuntu no ezokhulu uzawusela nithi into nezandiselisa ndimdala. Like I made a decision ba ndizosela and I think what also inspired that or maybe influenced that is that kwicala lakatatam most of them were alcoholics. So when I saw udabs wam nomalume bam umntu payile instead of buying inyama okanye amasi abuye xatazela kuba uziphi imali yabantwana umntu avelawe adipe.
That's hectic.
Imali yabantwana bra. So I was like I do not want to turn out like this. And it's also a thing to say when I saw my dad that I'm way last born ebazaleni bakhe like uphila naba bantu siblings zakhe ezindala kunaye zinjena but yena as he last born he took a different route efuna utshintsha ubomi bakowabo egereza engaseli. I was like yes. And I remember when I was 6-7 ndandihamba men's like men's tavern sabo club yabo eqonqa ndandihamba men's notatam utatam beyithanda isigxumgxum like ubumnandi. But the nice thing about him is that he used to have fun but angaseli. So wandibonisa but it's possible to have fun ungaselanga.
Okay.
And also tatam usweleke ndimncinci like 12. I was 12 when my dad passed away. So I always feel like the things that I learned from my dad and hambisa men's and hambisa intondoni are lessons that naye bengayazi uyanifundisa. So those things they carry me like till this day, and that's why I'm able to stay true kum ndingabe ndihambe ndizifake ebantwini because ndifuna into ezithile. And if I feel like vibrations azizi kwi-direction yam ndiyamyeka umntuna. Like nah dude, like no. Like
12 was a very eventful year for wena, ne? Coming back to uzohlala nabazali and then losing a parent.
Okay, let me explain that because then I guess it sounds a bit confusing. So abazali bam zange batshate.
Okay.
Batshata abanye abantu.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So then when I moved to Upper eBay, ndazohlala nomamam nomyeni wakhe, who is my dad.
Okay.
So the reason why it sounds confusing is because I don't say stepdad because utatam kaso stepfather kum ungutatam. It's just that sohlula ligazi. I don't feel that is not my father because he stepped up.
Okay.
And he's been stepping. Like Tatam has been around for as long as I can remember.
I like that because actually it then gives me a real understanding of the term step parent. It's the separation by blood, but the ability to say, I'm going to step up to the role of being a parent. I love that.
And I'm blessed to have otata babini.
Yeah.
Like there are things that I took from my biological father that still carry me till this day. There are things that in this tatatam lo endipilanayo who has stepped up ebomini bam every single day. I think no one understands me journey yam ye career yam like my dad does. No one affirms me like my dad. I remember when I was a part of a 5 squad with 5FM and I remember being there being like, oh, like, am I even sounding right enough? Because now I'm at 5. And I was like, it's fine, man, this is not for me. And I remember calling my dad Delila.
So downplaying yourself.
Yes, I was like, I'm not good enough for this. This is too much. And then my dad was like, I remember even when I left, I was like, 4. He was like, you're one of them. He didn't even know who my competitors were. Yes, he was just like, and knowing that utatam no mamam, like they believe in me, like that's all that matters to me. I don't need to hear about my sister in the city. You're really dope. My dad tells me. Like my mother stays up even when I'm standing in, because now, you know, like I'm no longer a graveyard, you know, like I do radio during the day.
Yes.
But you know, when I'm standing in mhlambi show like 1 to 3, you know, my mother stays up till this day just to listen to me on radio. Like for me, that's beautiful. Losing sleep, umama does a radio 1 to 3, and it's not even her show.
And also that should be grounding, because I remember we had a chat no like. So Oti, one of the grounding things for Rihanna is that nangokutata kengeko but usasaza enalando ba utata umamele because tata ke wayedla ngomamele. So ikwenza ntoni wena London knowing that
abazali bami bamamele?
Your pops is listening, because my moms have never had me on radio, never saw me on stage. I don't think she's ever seen any of the stuff that I do.
For me, Lando, iyanibonisa bana abazali bami, they appreciate my talent and they really support me. It's one thing to say, oh, congratulations, oh, intombi yami iseradweni, but when do you consume i-content yentombi yakho? Like intombi yakho yenza ntoni na eradweni? I remember this other day, after doing my show, my dad was like, yo, you had such a great show. And the last segment in Dachile, like to hear my dad saying that, I'm like, indenza nifile like utata uyanibona, because I feel like singabantu eyona nto sifuna ubonwa, and sifuna ubonwa ngabona abantu esibakhathaleleyo ukubone.
And I think that's the beauty of a strong nuclear family. And once it is strong, I mean that has all these elements where it's not just mom and dad and siblings, but it's loving mom, supportive dad. Do you know what I mean? And your siblings as your fans as well.
Yes.
That's really important. And I find that for the most part, when you speak to people, whether it's a doctor, it's a teacher, it's a housewife or whatever, and they come from a nuclear family, and you ask them, what is the basis of your strength, of who you are, of how you do the things that you do? They will always take you back to the foundation of the nuclear family. I think that's really important.
And I even want to say, like, the way abazali bami are so supportive. I remember even when I didn't get renewed at 5, yabo, and I had to be like, yo, now no longer at the SABC Zautini, I need to go back. My parents never made me feel like I failed. Like being ekolando ba, oh, ngokubuqhela uba nemali, ngofuna sikuphi imali. I never felt like that at all. It was very normal. It was to say, okay, cool, no longer 5, go back to the beginning. And I did.
I see that competitions played a big role in your life to get you to the different spaces of Fikekuso. I admire the fact that for you, it almost doesn't matter what it is. If you want it, you just get it.
Yes.
Whether umgaranto, whether intoni, umgaranto, yes. If you want to be there, you see yourself there and you get there. Take us through your journey of these competitions. What competitions have you entered? What has landed you where? Like what did that mean for you as well?
Okay, so let's start with the first one. And I entered it for the first time ever, DNZ competition. It was 5FM. 5FM was looking for abantu to be a part of Istishi Sabo, people from different provinces. And I remember the previous year, in 2018, Dandi Matric, and then 2019 going to varsity. And I remember just chilling with my friends. I sent something to me like, yo, next year I'm going to be at 5. And I'm going to 5. But Ngon didn't pick a 5. I don't even know how the hell I'm going to get there. I know nothing about submitting a demo. This is radio ends up by 5FM. And then the following year, Ipumindo yase 5FM, first ever search yase 5. Yeah, but unheard of. Ipume. Then okay, I should enter for this thing. But man, come back next year. I felt discouraged. And then I was going about my day, the final day of submission. Then this friend of mine, Uzukanye Yako, andithumelele poster again because kudala zingene ezi post efonini yam baqonde bana you guys are hyping me up too much andithumelele. And then I remember just walking around on campus be like, why don't I do this? Like, what am I scared of? I've got nothing to lose but absolutely everything to gain. And I went to the education department, very dodgy department, and then I recorded a demo yam. But then imagine a demo yam record njani. To record the phone and I had 2 phones. So the other one is recording, the other one is playing music.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
it's like the other one is volume to but it worked, you know, it worked.
You had to be innovative.
And then and then the file is too large. But then the phone Mr. P from Vodacom. Ben can I brand ambassador ka Vodacom? So and for LNJ just checking up on me. Them calling the frustration yam. Did you know about WeTransfer? Yo, WeTransfer. And then I did that 2 mail. Then got to our 5 famous opened your file. I was like, even if I don't get in, at least they know my name. At least they know my name. Yeah, fast forward, ndifumane into ethi ndikutop 20 manenze challenge. Dayenza kele challenge yam. Dazenza ngathi ndingumntu ojimayo, umntu active for content. But it worked out in the best way. Top 10, I received the email. I was so happy going to Joburg for the first time because also I believe in the power of the tongue. I've always said that into ezandisa eGauteng ngumsebenzi wami. Into ezandisa kwi-first flight yam ngumsebenzi wami. And that's exactly what happened. And I went to Joburg, ndafika eGauteng, eAuckland Park, eGarden Court. Kukho ababantu. Some of them I've seen them on TV auditioning for MTV. Others have TV shows. Others work at YFM. Others have names for themselves. And I'm just, at the time I was so tiny, Kesana. I was this tiny 19-year-old overthinker too much because now ndihleli nabantu who are bigger than me. So I'm like,
probably bayazana.
Ukubona andaziwa like andazimntu andibazi nam ndiyababona be, you know, I was like, this is too much for me. But then kwakho is serious here challenges payana and I did every challenge. I gave it my best. But I remember how I felt like, hey man, English, I'm right for upper land how. Like, I always had this thing to say, like, do I sound white enough? I don't know why I always thought I had to sound really white for 5, but that's just how I felt at the time. And fast forward to the day where they were going to announce. Remember, I told you I called my dad, and my dad was like, don't worry about it, sweetheart. You're already in there. And wati ulizel, I'm not going to call out our bandu by 5, yabo, but I'm rather going to just press a button and then I'm like picture yenu nina bantu abakwi-5 squad izawuvele ivele on the count of 3. And I remember as she said those words, I started crying because I was like, I really want this. Well, like 5 minutes ago, I said it's fine that they can get it and I'll be happy. But I was like, no, I want this.
You want A now.
Like, and when I saw my face, I cried. Like, tears of joy. Up until that day, I experienced the tears of joy for the very first time because I was like, I was in doubt. But it's fit for me. So, and I remember abantu abawinileyo ke bamba bayosela abantu abanomona babhetha bas jaja kwa round table. But who actually deserve to be there? I had a roommate of mine who didn't make it, Mahadi, absolutely incredible. We went to McD's, Samba sayo celebrated sobabini salala, and I was content with that, and I was so happy. And I had the soak at 5 FM graveyard 1 to 4 AM with ZANELE PHOTHELWA. Amazing year of my life. And my biggest prayer contract renewals last season is sensitive. Yo, guys, the way I prayed so hard to get a new contract, but then I didn't. And I had to start over. Ndingayazi nemali endinoyenza from this. So let me go back to Nkqubela andikanga ndixabene namntu. Into endiyifunayo yi-radio.
Yes.
And I went back to start over and they welcomed me. It was amazing. But once in Nkqubela, I was like, Jonga, I've got 10 months here. Nothing more.
But that was big for you because abasasazi abaninzi abakhe bafumana taste ka SAPC, they hardly go back to community radio stations. You know, kudos to Kubani Tanzania ngoku Mandofondofo and the sister from Bisuka Metro. She was with TRU at some point. She was doing a drive Uspokazi January.
Uspokazi January upyo?
Mdantsane FM.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes.
No, Mdantsane FM akafumaneki online, ne?
I think they have sites.
Is it? I searched for them yesterday. Okay.
Ubufuna ntoni sibali kakhulu nandi?
Ayisufuna ukwazi yonke into yami kaloku.
You were saying, Sima.
Yeah. So for me, I had to go back to community because I was like, I'm a very spiritual person. Ezinye ndizithatha personally. Yeah, but I feel I believe bana izinto zenzekela mna. So me not getting a contract at 5, it's not against me, but it is for me.
Yes.
So I was like, there's something that I clearly need to work on or fix by going back to community where I can make mistakes without being judged. It's okay. I can grow. That's why I had to go back. And it's also because I remembered my dreams. I was like, okay, fine. I am an academic. I could really get this psychology degree, go to my PhD, have my own practice. But will I be happy? Will I be able to listen to i-radio ngenhliziyo ekhululekileyo ndingekho eradweni? I was like, no. So just do the right thing. And I did. And I remember when I saw TRU talent search, I was like, firstly, angomntu who really consumes True FM. Ayikho kwi-goals zam. So I'm not interested. But then I was like, it's not about where I want to be. It's about my stepping stones. Lendawo ndizoba kuyo ngoku, and the next one is helping me get to lendawo endifuna uba kuyo. Because remember, I'm still trying to find my voice. Yes. And I entered TRU talent and I went all in. I was like, I'm going in. Like if I'm entering this thing, I better win. Yeah, bo. And the more I was in the competition, the more I fell in love with True FM. And I was like, hey, imagine being and now I'm loving it.
And you love it.
And I went all in. Like, Unsika was a part of my campaign. People were helping me. Seasons and a convoy, your mother were like, we went
and your campaign again.
I wasn't about me and campaign. Actually, I'm forgetting another competition I entered was the Nivea Skinfluencer. So that one, I didn't go hard, kuyo. And I felt like, I got followers, people are gonna vote for me. But the post engine, I got this. Yo, yan hamlisha experience. I was like, fine, people are backing me, but it's not enough. So Nivea Skinfluencer helped me to step up when it came to True talent.
Okay.
Because if I went into True talent with the same attitude by highway, two people are gonna support me anyway. I wouldn't have made it. So it really pushed me, and it showed. It was for me to prove it to myself. Bana, ifuna indo, you know how to get it. And even when I didn't win, I remember, I think Unsika was there, so Unsika's been there, yeah? So okay, front shine. And we're like, kulindiwe ke ngokwathiwa umntu owinileyo uzawufonelwa. Hey, I remember this day. So iqala uring ifone. Ndiqonda uba yazi intoni? No man, ifone yami khona la xa ufonayo. So noma could delay in terms of it ringing in my mind.
Yeah.
And then kaske kaphela sifuna uhlomela, and I was like, okay, it is what it is. But I was so happy to get to the top 2.
Yeah, that was really dope.
Yeah, it meant a lot to me. But then uThixo usebenza emfihlakalweni. So my mother and I, we prayed about it. We're like, we're grateful God for this experience. And I was like, away.
And your name now is ringing in the circles the rate.
Yes. So had I won the competition, I would have received what? A graveyard slot. So God was like, well, you're not going to win, my child. I've got prime time for you. So when I got my offer, it was to say you're doing a flagship show. Like that's what it is. 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that's what it was for me. Yeah. So timing is also very important. Nonga forced izinto, and also like just working hard and knowing bana izinto zenzekela wena and they're not against you, and not be a sore loser. So and important. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, no.
The competitions I've entered. And knowing that I've got nothing to lose but everything to gain, and I'm gunning for my dreams no matter what.
And how did you find yourself back at 5 FM again?
Hey, yazibona xa kuthiwa uthi usebenza imfihlakalweni, yo God, usebenza imfihlakalweni. Like it is. Like usebenza imfihlakalweni nyani, because remember I went back to Enkqubela. ndiyadala ke mna ke xa ndithethe into zam like ndine 10 months apha andizophinda ndibe lapha. Next year I'm going back to the SABC and that's it. There's no offer on the table at this time. Akho nto engathi nama ndifakanga demo at all. I'm like hayi Thixo uzawubona uba mawuthini. Noma ndazifaka idemo man like ngo-2019 ngoku zange ndirenewishe ndizama, but then I spent the time to say man bese redwini enkqubela. But I was like I'm going to the SABC regardless. So dafumana Loyiso Bala followed me on Instagram. And I was like, darling, you better be following me for a reason. Don't just follow me. And then one phone a couple of weeks later, he's like, yo, Sima, okay, I've been listening to you on radio. You sound really good. Masdibane, and I was like, oh, great. Since I like make you offer on the table, and tell me that I sound good. That's me talking to myself. And then I've and phone like dibana, but I nikele offer on the table. Firstly, does this man not apologize? He's apologizing. It's like, yo, Sima, I'm so sorry. I know in Kobela you're doing like Monday to Friday, but right now I can only offer you weekends. What? Like, I'm like, you're apologizing?
At which station now?
At True FM.
True, sure.
I got nothing on the table and you're busy. I'm like, apologizing. Just give me the job. Like, what? And then, okay, back to the SABC, God, you're good. The following day, I get a call from Michael Bossinger. I'm like, Michael. And Mike was the acting programs manager, A5 at the time. And Kengoku. Like now he's not acting, but he actually is. So I'm phoning Mike and was like, yo, Sima, what's happening in PE? Are you good? I'm like, yo, what's up, bruv? And then and yo, usiqala into your freelancer e-compilers because we're struggling to get people. I know you've never been in music, but would you be interested to learn? I'm like, yeah. Like, I'd love to. And it's like, right now, there's not much I can offer you in terms of the lineup, but I know you're great. So you'll do stand-ins as well. And nike zonke into ndizawuinvoyisela zona. Ndaqomba, Michael, suba nawari ndikhona. Like, subuyicacisa. And also le mali at this point, ndifuna i-job lena. So, yeah, ndasayina i-contractors yi-2 ngonyaka oyi-1. Like True FM and 5FM at the same time. And I became like the youngest dual citizen, you know? and that was like really nice. Like to be contracted for True FM and 5FM. I never thought of that. I asked God now for SABC.
And then
and also my biggest prayer was to say, you know what, God, fine, I'm a great presenter, but I need stability now. I need something else that can stability outside of broadcasting. And now I'm a music compiler. I never thought of it. Like fine, I listen to music, but not by but essentially now that's what I do.
So between the 5 Squad and True Talent, also Mostani move with competitions, you also have an eye for talent, and you're like, hey, but yeah, I know I'm great and I want this thing, but hey, yeah, I think there's talent there. Are there people that like you identified and you like, if they can be given a chance, they could do great things, or they're already now on the platforms?
Yo, guys, there's ZANELE. ZANELE PHOTHELWA. Like, a ZANELE PHOTHELWA link will change your entire existence. Like, ZANELE is so good. Like, she is so good. As the leading lady in the country, highest paid broadcaster in the country, ZANELE's next in line. 947 knows right now, and we will come back to this clip. She's the one who's going to do breakfast after Anele.
We manifest.
ZANELE. Yo, ZANELE is so good. Who else can I think of?
Where is she now?
She's doing lunch at 5.
Okay.
Minnie Ntuli is so great. Oh, Jesus, please. ZANELE PHOTHELWA.
Minnie Ntuli. Was it in a podcast as well?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, okay.
Not yet. Minnie Ntuli is doing breakfast at Gagasi. She used to be at 5. Besenzi 5 weekend breakfast. Minnie's incredible. There's a new one right now at Metro Msakazi. Abamfakayo, like benzi graveyard now ukona na weekends. Okay. She's so good. Ebe hosta Don Metros with Somizi. She was that girl. Oh. Yo, Msakazi is so talented.
Yeah, I think I've heard.
I like that you are identifying females. I love that.
But I'm trying to think of other young people now. Abangeka Fiki, Parklanda. Like there's this girl, Umbali Yolisa Ngale. She used to be at and Kubela, but now she's at Vow FM, and I believe within no time she's going commercial. 5 is gonna take her. Umbali is really, really good. She's just really talented. I love her style of presenting. I like how she expresses herself, her wittiness. Yeah, she doesn't hold back. But I'm trying to think of a guy now.
You don't have to.
I don't have to, man.
No, you don't have
I don't have to. Like
they don't need to be thought of all the time.
those people, yeah.
What? Sexist.
Those are the people right now who are inspiring me to get my ish together and to keep on pushing. Like when I listen to those people, those voices, they inspire me to get better in what I do. Yeah.
What do you want to achieve with your voice? Like on radio, if you were to have your ideal show the way you want it, because especially in Simos, when we get these contracts from broadcasters, they already have a slot, and this is what
They
your
know how it's supposed to
creativity
go.
is limited to what they want that show to push. What would be your ideal show? What would you be talking about?
For me, in my ideal show, I'd be speaking about things we don't have in everyday conversations. Like, that's basically what I want to talk about. I can't think of an example right now as I'm talking. But ukubone industry bana, yo, I must me camera. Then sithethe ngale. Yabo. I want to be able to speak about those things. Like, for example, okay, I'll stand for this. To say, if a man says, ndifuna intombazana enemali, okanye umuntu okwi-standard sam, abantu bayamjaja. But when a woman says that, it's like, okay, yeah, she knows what she wants.
Yeah.
She's confident romantically. Yeah, that's what they say. You know? And for me, I want amadoda ethu to say, no, andimfuni because yigenge. Andimfuni because ufuni wings.
Yes.
And no one is going to trust them for that. And even if abantu, they drag you for saying that, but tete, ilendo ifunayo. And I feel like our men have lowered their standards because abafunu judged by society.
And be cancelled.
I think
and
their
be
voice
cancelled.
has been stolen.
Yes.
Their voice has been
Ndifuna
stolen a
iphele
lot.
lento to say,
Yeah.
no, amadoda, mama, men are trash. Fine, they can be trash. We're not going to get into that conversation. But let's not silence them. Let's not silence them.
They have been silenced,
Because
unfortunately.
the reason why kukho indoda nomfazi is because zine rules ezohlukeneyo. You know, I cannot be whole without a man, vice versa. And we're not honest enough for masi admit londo. And those are the kind of conversations that I want to have freely. So ungangixoleli bana you're limiting me okanye funeka ndihlale phansi because I said something on air. And I feel like the new age your podcast nayo, I wish it influences radio to evolve.
Yes.
Because as people, we have evolved. There's certain things I can't say on air because it's going to offend the listener. But I can say it on a podcast. And leno ndiyicinga nomnye umuntu uyayicinga.
Yes.
Masithethe.
And also, why people take offense instead of take that as a learning curve or a beginning of a conversation. If ndithetha into, it offends you probably because it's true or ndithetha into bengakho suppose ndiyayithetha. So either way, there must be a conversation. If ikhona into I understand here, that's why ndithetha ngolu hlobo, I need to be told. So, xa sinento esithi hayi man ezinto azifuna zithethwe, it means we are stifling growth and development yethu as a society. I believe.
I agree with you.
So, do you have a feature or a care that you came up with and you were like,
That's the one.
I'm a genius?
A feature, you know what the problem is? You know when you brainstorm with someone, it can be very difficult to say, I own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bo. Because we could have a conversation, then we don't do it. Then it lingers in my head and I end up thinking it's my idea.
Okay.
Right? But I'm a 2000, Awayazi Lena, which is a feature on my show currently right now. I feel like, I'm a genius. The way I ran with that. So it's basically to say I was born in the year 2000. Like ngama 2000s, ikhona izinto that abantu be-90s, 80s, 70s abazaziyo engazaziyo. Yabo. And the thing with me, my biggest goal to be on air ngoku is to say, I'm a young person. I'm the youngest person on the station. And I want to embrace that. there will come a time when the being sis and chancha and I'm being all serious, But now I'm a child and I want to embrace the fact that Omnyum may look at me and not think that I'm 20. Yes, I'm 23, but I am, and I want to embrace that. So I was like, there are things I don't know. And I feel like saying about we don't capitalize enough on the things that we don't know. We always want to seem like we know. Like, for example, in our conversation later, if you say a word that I don't understand, that's the nature. It's okay to not know. And I was like, let me capitalize on it. And the feature is doing so well. And I'm so glad that I ran with being a 2K. And I am.
Again, just this one thing that you've put out there, what 2000 awayazile.
What I'm going to do in June, because I had an interview and I realized bana and was umkhoko. So I'm like,
you don't know.
And it was umkhoko. So
kutya man, kuyakhoqwa, sort of Fiyo. There's some poverty food though.
When there's lack of the formula.
So now I want to know, Bana, well, Young has already answered me, but now I need to go on the radio and act like I didn't hear this. And yes, I remember when I launched the feature, I was like, because I was upset. Actually, I need to talk about this, and I hope he sees this. Unga Pepe hurt my feelings at the comedy show. Like, I went there, for the first time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to support my friend. I'm showing up, and I'm showing up for the culture. I said, bye. Finally, let me leave the house. I'm ready for I'm like, bon, comedians are using exam. Dafika pen. Unga Pepe. Wenza is set about in 90s, not Jamie Ellie. And I was like, I'm over here. I don't know what you're talking about. I was so upset. This guy is going on about Jamie Ellie and he's mimicking, he's impersonating people. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you saying? And people were cracking up, and I'm sitting there like upset. I don't know what you're on about. Like, Pepe, stop it. Can we get him off stage now?
So the set was dope because everyone was cracking up, but then when you were left out of
I was like, yeah. And then from Kali campaign, but when I eat jokes in the shop, man, who in the room can find you funny.
But have you since watched Jamie Ellie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, are you going to look like SAPC channel that is?
Enco.
SAPC and what hell? You lied to me, Mashamplan.
I haven't watched it. Also, to say I'm running with this feature. I'm at 2000 and I'm very authentic. So I cannot watch things and go and end ben and the other day, and I asked people back and people were emotional about that shaped abantwana bethu to behave the way that they are right now. And I'm like, oh, I thought Yizo were just these cool kids in the township. And essentially they were, but then they spoke about drugs, and I was like, okay, let's end the chat. Now I know what they were doing.
And have you still not watched Yizo still?
I haven't. I know it's on Netflix now. I think this but then it's also to say, I'm a 2000 are still going on.
You don't inspire confidence.
But the thing is, I should think it's not really. You can say to the people, I'm a 2000 but you could also, after you've spoken about the thing that you don't know, you could also take a moment to say, did you get what I'm saying?
No, I do that, but then I can't do it yet. Because if you try it, you evolve.
Okay.
So, there's going to be a character, so we still need to tackle that character.
Okay.
To be like, Sima, Yizo. And I really don't know that person. So we first need to explore the entire thing before I can watch it.
Okay, no, I feel you.
And it's also going to evolve to say, I'm at 2000, Lena. When do you know what it is? So now there's a new feature. It's called TikTok Police. And I've realized that, old people struggle with the lingo. So if I say 4:10, you need to send me a voice note and tell me about Bantini. What does this mean in the TikTok world? Yeah. If I say side eye. So if you try to evolve.
So what's 4:10?
It means...
But you know the story, you know what happened. But it's just that you don't know that it became a lingo with TikTok.
What happened?
You tell the story. You tell it so well. Yeah. Because it's like you were testing him.
The bombing.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember this. Yeah.
And then there was a lady, whether makulu or neighbor, so she was relaying the account.
Sure.
So it's like all the houses were shaking, like something like that.
So now what does 10+4 mean now?
So
as a lingo.
Yeah, as a lingo, it means ba kukwingxaki. Like there's a problem.
Yeah.
Let's say, you know, Mamela, hypothetically speaking, when I got here, let's say being a camera, and then we're running late, we're trying to find this camera guy, and I figure. So we're like 10+4. Like in real, camera. So shoot anjani because camera ayiko. So every time ukinde wrong, mhlambi you apply for funding, or you run with your idea, uqonda ngoJune zayenza le event, ibuye kuthiwa sorry ma'am, your application was unsuccessful. 10+4, unsuccessful. So indlu yawo ke plans zakho zizibone. Yeah.
Wow, we make anything work.
Yeah.
Must work. So tell us, you were telling us about this TikTok feature. Uwenza ndoni usibuza ngo 10+4 pa okanye.
No side eye.
Oh, side eye. Like ndifuna uyazi umakhulu wasemqanduli xa ndithi side eye kuyo ucimba ndithetha ukuthini.
Guys, utheni umqanduli niuthanda? Like why? There's something about umqanduli. Like you're not the only person. Like everyone othetha ngento ba mhlawumbe ufuna lendo yaziwe okanye icaciswe in plain language. They always reference umama wasemqanduli ingaba uzayiva.
I think so as well, because
it's just part of the lingo.
Also for Tina ban balapha abanye bethu abanazo nelali. So the minute you mention Qanduli, they just think a left. Like everything on that side. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, everything there. So that's what I mean. I don't mean specifically umakhulu wasemqanduli, umakhulu waseThamaga, Masingata, Zwelitsha, yonke la line. Yes. Yeah.
I want to ask about your emceeing. Because what I'm understanding, Gawa, is that you are some sort of a package. I don't know if it's full yet, the package, but I understand that you are a package. There's the radio presenting, there's TV presenting, there's emceeing.
There's voiceovers.
Yeah? There's voiceovers. Let's talk about the emceeing. What was it a natural progression ukuthi uthe radio ni kwathiwa kha MC shele gig because you can present a radio? And is it natural and obvious that every radio presenter can become an MC?
No.
Okay.
No. Like entertaining a live audience, that's a skill on its own. Not everyone can do it. And I remember for me, like the thing with me, I respect every department in the arts. Yabo, and yonke into xa ndiyenzayo ndifuna uyenzisisa. Andifuna ukuthi kuba nise-radio nayo wethu ndiyakwazi u-emsa. I don't have to be the best, but wethu ndibhukisheni. If ndiya-DJya, I don't, imix yam noba ikho kule ncam wethu, but igama lam will get me a booking. Andisebenzi ngolo hlobo. Yonke into ndiyayirespekta. So ndiyabona okay abantu abase-radio baya-emsa, but then ndiyathanda uzicingela ke sometimes, hey, I got mna, can I really entertain this live audience? Abantu belapha phambi kwam. I can't remember what gig I got. And then I was, Nkqubela. Got my first gig in Disenzo Live. Why at the time I was still like 16. Then the hostelele outreach to Sekobandana Beskolo. And I remember just interacting with them. And I was just being myself. And I was so happy. Then the jokes, you guys think I'm funny. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I like to test the jokes because even if I'm not funny. So like there's so many things. Okay, I could use this with the crowd. Could use this. Then I started talking about wanting to be an MC, started talking about wanting to be on TV and telling people, no, book me. And I don't care about the money. I know that I'm a brand, but I also believe that if the brand, ndifuna uqala uEMSA zange ndaEMSA ndikucharge 20K, what am I doing? I'd rather charge you 5 because andiyale into ndiyenzayo bafuna ndinxibile ndifake makeup and show up presentable mandiyithestele ndiyibone uba iyanisebenzela because I feel like enye mistake abantu abayenzayo leyo, but we'll get into that some other time. So
get to it even right now.
Like,
we got time, bro.
So as I was on stage, I fell in love with emceeing, and I was like, I want to do this more because just like radio, it's happening in real time.
Yeah.
If I say 4:10 and the crowd is like, we can't rewind, we can't say the joke again. It's there. It's airing at that time. So that's what I really enjoy about emceeing, like the thrill. And for me, I boost the confidence. Because I live in my head too much sometimes. And I look at a crowd before I start and I'm like, yo, I remember Ebubeleni booked me for some event in Abandabango Sisabadal, Abandabango Mom. I'm like, I'm 21.
Yeah.
Like anyone like in the room? Yeah, I'm 21. So how am I supposed to entertain Usis Nogzolona 50? Like, what am I going to say to her that's going to make her laugh?
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, God, believe that's my biggest prayer. So if it comes to me, then it means I'm ready for it. Yeah, So Diane's and I killed it. And I remember I was like, yeah, Zugia Sunday School helped me. Because on them you're saying Abana. I can't remember what song was playing. And I was like, Kumnandu balapa. They were like, it's nice to be here. I was like, come on. That's your lingo. Let's go. So, you test out a lot of things, man. And yeah, boost your confidence. Yeah. And I just want more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like doing live TV. It gives me that. Yeah.
Which format of TV is live? Is it not the news only?
It's not the news only. Like,
formats?
There are different TV shows. They are live.
What you call this?
Was Big One Up not live at some point?
Yeah, it was live. So those live shows for me, like, so you've got 20 seconds. Make sure whatever you're saying, you finish in exactly 20 seconds. And as I'm talking, count it down at 5, 4, and I'm busy like da da da. So that thrill of ban at 1, after the break, you know, like I finished like on the spot. And then Ati coming back from me at break, you've got 5 seconds, 5, 3, 2, 1, and I'm like, welcome back. No, like all of it, like Ian excited because I feel like in the end like live, and it motivates you to get better.
Sure.
Because there's no chance for Bat to do it again. It's done now. So, yeah.
And what are some of your most memorable emceeing gigs?
My most memorable. I remember when I did Ebubeleni for the first time. I mentioned Ebubeleni because I feel like a lot of us Apepai see Ebubeleni as that event, as that festival. So I remember as a kid, we went to Ebubeleni once and I was like, one day I'm going to be on that stage. And then that year, Malbonga took me to Bobe backstage presenter. I was like, but I want to be on that stage. I like this, but I want to be there. And a couple of years later, I got a call to be there. Right? Sure. And in Dabayamyongenak Ebubeleni was so hectic. And I like to speak openly about this because I feel like people are always scared to speak about this. So I was working for this other company. And I told them that I want to do Ebubeleni. And they told me that because of the show that you do, you're too young to be seeing Ebubeleni. But I was like, wow, because it's a festival, kids go there. And I emailed Mark. I was like, dude, I want to do the show. And then Mark went on to speak to these particular people. And these particular people, they shut the door on me to say, no, you're not going to do it. And then so, figures a story. And I was like, yes, you know.
Are these people part of Ebubeleni or were
it's a company.
Working?
Glendown Paila kuyo at the time. Iyo lin valela yoba manga ifman leki ya Ebubeleni.
Because she's still young.
Because I'm too young to do it. Yabo. And I understand Lendo by Teta. They just didn't want me to get the gig. Yabo. They didn't want us to progress outside of the entity because of his Indobebe like they cripple you. Bana mautinge lendo signika yona is the best and ayiko enye.
Sabawele gam.
Yabo. So but then when the time came,
pay TV before
then sebenza nayo no put Malbongwe.
Put Malbongwe?
I just forgot the name of his company. You mentioned him the other day. Yes, Nombande.
Okay.
Oh, Nombande. Oh, do you hear that? Nombande.
Yes. 2000 tendencies.
Milky D, Select
and then
Few.
I was upset about that, but I was like, when the time is right, is and when it did, it was so memorable because I remember being there, and for some reason, abantu basestratweni samba bethenge amatikiti. Yabo, and I didn't even tell them banzo bapayana because I was like, what if I mess up Qaban? But they were right there, good front row, and I remember seeing Unoma Zangwa, and I was so happy to see her, and just seeing her from the stage, and she was hyping me up, and they were hyping me up. I remember like just introducing these people who I see on TV, and I was like, oh wow, this is so memorable. Like I can really do this, and I was hot. Like I was hot. I remember then you go backstage, yabo. And I'm like, you're killing it. Then I remember when my set ended and I had to go to VIP to chill with people. People came to me like, give me your booking details. You're dope, you know? And I was like, for me, of any gig, my zuze any.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and that's what I want. And I like to challenge myself as an MC because versatile and funi unbone corporate car. If unbone then you can't book me for like a jazz thing.
Yeah.
I can do it. And I like Usis Leza for always like taking chances on me. Like when you started booking me, I was so raw as an MC. I was like raw. And I'm like, oh, this lady's gonna stop booking me. Oh, I am so terrible. But every time, like she took a chance on me. And with every gig I did for her, it got better. I remember the last time that we did
Mandela Bay Theatre Complex, right?
Not is it the theater complex? It's called that now.
It's called that.
Where
Opera House,
yes, that one.
Which one was it? The Lamentations concert or International
Lamentations.
Women's Day?
Yes, that one for me was memorable a lot because firstly, Takon Bayo, it's a bit chilled, it's a bit jazzy, like it's not me, it's not Sima lo.
Yeah.
So how am I gonna show up? And I remember my beginning was a bit rough. But when I got in, like the second time to announce again, I was like, no, darling, like you are on the stage, you got this, you're going to kill it. And I killed it. I always watch as a video. Sometimes I don't take videos when I'm emceeing to post, but I take them for me. Because I'm going to open this born again.
Yeah.
So the phone was born. And I know young and I'm going to take you, I can 40. So that thing of being able to reflect back, like that was so memorable for me because I managed to do a gig well. I wouldn't fit in that caliber, and I did. Yeah. So it's proving my versatility. So
that's great.
Two highlights for me.
How far do you want to take it?
I'm an international product.
Okay.
Do you want to act?
Okay.
Right now, I'm still childish for acting.
At some point.
Because my boyfriend is an actor.
Okay.
So I can, like, I feel like sometimes and I just laugh. Like, acting at the like for like I'm too childish. Like, okay, my sister got to say and I'm like, so right now I am very, very childish for actor. But I think if someone could believe in me the way like someone believed in Nomza Mombata, because Nomza Mombata, what happened to her, we entered she presenter search, then she didn't win. Then wafumana call from Aban Best Buy. Bati, we want you for this character. She was like, but I don't act. And they were like, can you follow instructions? She's like, yeah. They're going to come through. She's like, away. So if someone can believe it, I believe but I can hold your hand. Yeah, and sometimes I believe, if I can just be on set, childish.
And I feel like you could take even like a cameo role, appearing as yourself to start with, uvele as Sima Fiyo. Eventually, because as I say, you're a package. I don't know if the package is full yet for yourself, but you've got a lot of time as well. I mean, being 23 and all. Povkasias if you've got a lot of time, but we assume that you've got a lot of time because of your age. And I feel like you do the things. You already do the things. You push really hard, harder than most people I know. I've let go of other people for you, knowing that other person could do the job. But I would rather a Sima because Diambona, Ba, Jonga, Uyazbusha and whatnot. So kudos. You need to to carry on and do that. Any challenges you faced in the industry where kutiwa sisi subadur kaloku supapa you're starting out okanye listen we can talk about this later, maybe we can go to the hotel, any challenges of the sort, because it's the industry. Some people think
and they prey on young girls.
They prey on young girls, young pretty girls, young ambitious girls who really want it all, the money, the power, the fame. Itini, have you faced up with any challenges?
Yes, I think the biggest one was at the very beginning. And bear in mind, this time I was like 16. And this guy was big in the industry. But I wonder if, condom call is a sep. Not condoning that behavior. Not condoning that behavior. Not condoning it. Not condoning it. But like Laput, sometimes when I think back to the situation, I'm like, yo, so sum it up. After like a photo shoot, and I'm like, oh, so no, ndihamba nalo mntu usendi safe. I mean, this is a man of God, but nothing should happen. And then then Loputi starts flirting with me in the car, and I'm young, I'm a virgin, I'm like, I'm not gonna have sex until I'm married, and that's that. And then he's like, no, it's sexy Mandy. He has a sexy Mandy. And he just started like persuading me to say, you're so talented, I'm going to give you gigs, like the TV show that you want, I can give it to you, I've got contacts, he was selling me my dreams, so that I can sleep with him. I remember he drove a BMW.
When the person says, I can get you to Metro,
he drove a BMW. Imagine, esikoleni shomza kuzawubona ba uzolandwa nge-BMW. Like wayen basela basically, and he wanted to sleep with me, and I was like, no.
Who's this guy?
Hayi. So mna anfuna uma elankeni eCourt.
Uyamazi now?
Hallelujah. Yes. Man of God.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. Also, I know other people, when they look at this, they're going to be like, why are you protecting this
but
man?
Also, he's been arrested. He's been found guilty. LUTHANDO MATHODLANA.
Yeah,
he's been found guilty. When there's a that's been tried and tested in court, and the verdict was out. Yeah.
Because our kids now can be ambitious. Because these things, they make me angry. Because this guy, if une trauma zakhe engakhanga deal nazo, makazame counseling. If he can afford a BMW, makahambe ayo jongwa ingqondo. No, you see, because look, we've got girls, man. You understand? Esingazoba khona okokoko ebomini babo, and then now xana umntana ambitious, abantu benza lando. You understand? And lando means kwi-industry. Let the kids grow. If awukwazi umnceda umuntu, sumnceda, unganceda umntana ngencanca.
Akaphili khona ngoku. Wasn't there something that you appealed or something?
Anmazi, but I really believe that it deserves to be klandao akuyo, because I remember that day so well, because Leana kwakuneta ukuba endihlala e5 udacwa ke5. Like when I think about that day in that car, like kwakuneta kukumoya. So even if I was crying out for help, no one was going to hear me. And already noise iyablockeka already, so that's even worse. Like when I think about that day, I'm like, yo Tito, because that man could have raped me outside of indlu yabazali bam, even though my parents were inside, but they wouldn't know because of the weather conditions. But I was in shock, but I still had Amanda to say, hey, and then one Friday, then one Vulila, and then Dahamba. And then he still called me. But when all of this was happening, I was in shock. Like, I don't judge a band who keep quiet after like such experiences. When I think about mine, I'm like, firstly, I could have gotten home and told my mom that this man did A, B, C, and D. But I was like, is anyone going to believe me?
Yeah.
Lendo yenzekileyo yenzeke nyanyan okanye is it happening in my head? Like there are so many things that you go through, but like one thing I'm grateful for is that zayinga yenzeke, and I was exposed enough to things to know that imungono ndayithethayo uzanika njani imetro ngekho semetro. And I didn't fall into the trap of the things he promised me. But I think right now, the biggest challenge that I have right now is money. Because one thing Oput Oyama has taught me is pricing. Like, don't be scared to call out your price if you know why you're calling out the price yako. So for me right now is, I don't mind not gigging 10 times a month if that one gig is going to pay me more than the 8 gigs. I don't care about being on every poster, but the gig I take, my bay gig, ebalekleyo kum. Okay, sometimes even if a gig, I yazi value yam. Sometimes I don't take a gig because of the money, but I take the gig for brand visibility and brand association. Brand association speaks volumes. If I do, let's say, a splash festival, ban patali 1,000 rand, only we know that. Abanye abantu will assume otherwise. And because I did a splash festival for brand visibility and what's the other one I said? Association, I can go charge 30K somewhere else. You know, so sometimes lendo pricing it's so important. It's so like no, because but what could you possibly capitalize on? Find another value.
Yeah. And any undermining on your calling fee, no, I want 30,000, but no, we're not going to do that.
Oh, darling, yes. I've turned down a lot of things. Like, like I do what I do because I love it, but at the very same time, and I understand now that Italian game can make me money. And if you cannot reach a consensus, then must be grand chip. We are grand. Grand.
No,
but otherwise, no, I can't do it. Because if I can calculate on the banner, there's a loss up, I can't even break even. Then dude, let's let it go. So,
and sorry, just for the sake of those young girls that want to be a Bonang, want to be a Sima, a Mini, whatever. What goes into your pricing? Just break it down quickly. What goes into, what are you considering? Because go break her even, whereas Tina, when swim on stage, break her even done. What expenses did you go through for Baubela? You just took a taxi, drove in your car, wafika stage, what theater in don't go. What is it?
So firstly, let's talk about me as an individual. I need to get my face done. So that's makeup. I need to look good, so that's wardrobe, right? My hair needs to be fixed, so that's hair, makeup, and wardrobe. So if ndifuna uthenga iBalenciaga, ndinxibekela gig yakho, then uzayibhatala ngokwakho. That's part of wardrobe. And and I am charging you on how I want to appear, on the appearance, And then I've got a team, Social media now is very important. I remember I remember knocking at this other company. They were like, show me your videos. And I was like, I sorry, asking for too much. And then so now I have someone every time I gig who's on my social media team, post as everything is happening right now. Then I've got someone who needs to take care of other things. Food voucher. Why up? No, someone else must take care of getting my food voucher and my water. So I need to pay that person. I've got transport. Sometimes I don't want to drive myself to an event because in a moto. When as the organizer, get me an H1, get me a fucking car to come fetch me.
Also, even when you are using your own car, there's the cost of fuel. Transport.
So those are the things. I think the most important things, because also as considerations, if let's say ndiyayifuna le gig, but if ndibiza oma 15,000 to be able to pay unsika, I was going to walk around with the camera and now mandithathe kule yam. So sometimes eza gigs zakho zokuqala zi-investment to lendo eventually ofuna i-charge. And even so ufikile la point yobana umuntu uyakwazi ukunika 30,000 for 2 hours. Sometimes ofuna ukuphinda ubuyele ku 5,000 because of what land we investayo. So into your gig and being in the industry live
how much prep time do you invest?
I was gonna say pre-production as well is another one that you like or charge your corner. Because a lot of events that I've done, no one gives me the profiles. They just tell me Makbim Nandi.
I think that's their understanding that you just get on stage And then comes to Kyal.
Yes. So I need to do market research. Who's going there? Who's going to be there? Who's going to be on my stage? Let me watch past interviews. So Amanda Blake, so Java, so Ban. So that sometimes when I introduce you, I need to say,
Yes.
Something that you said in an interview that hits home. You're like, oh wow, this girl knows me, and it even hypes you up for a performance. Because abanyamandu, they think when we show up, you just show up because you have to, right? Because there's one talented. There's one I want to share, right? Because I'm a child of God and I like to let people know that God is good. I remember this one time last year when I MC'd Splash for the first time, LEP, so while I was doing my prep, because last minute booking, there's not enough time to prep properly for everyone. So LEP, they huddled up, they taking pictures with this guy. I'm like, who's LEP? Can I have a chat with him? Where's his manager?
Yeah.
And then I just go, LEP, very cool guy, poly, nicely colored, like very nice. And then they say, oh, LEP, so much not let me condemn some special of Nahita Tengaw and okay. And then I did Kenyan. I didn't know Veluti LEP on stage, they'll go crazy. I'm a shonj I am.
Yeah.
But then the Condemana, no money, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Because the reason why this guy has been called to perform here is because he's incredible. And and he called special guy. So I started praying. I'm like, God, please help me. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say when I get there, but come on, let's do this. I started chanting. I was like, okay, when's hip hop? So I'm like, early B. And then, you know what's crazy? The crowd, early B. Then, intro yake. We are chant. He has a song. So it was as if I knew.
I'll link it to that.
But it was a godly moment. And I feel like as people, sometimes you don't listen to consciously to enough. You have to listen to that voice. Because if I didn't chant when something in me said I should chant, but I did. So,
great.
Yeah.
Hey man, Fiyo. Sima Fiyo. Sima Fiyo, it's been wonderful. I don't know if Leza is
Oh, wow.
Like, that was deep.
It's very deep.
Like, I didn't even think that far. I thought we are
we keep on saying the same thing.
But I guess the brand is Sima Fiyo.
Yeah, that's the brand.
Yes, so ndiye ndizihloniphe ke ngoku senames zabantu kuba le yama ibizwa pha enkonzweni. Bakuzawuthethwa nguMakhi, kuzawuthwa nguMakhi wasekhaya, kuzawuthwa nguMakhi wakwaFibi. You get this?
I definitely get what you're saying. Yeah.
And for none I get, I can say, I don't want to bore the people with that. But no, there's nothing much on my side. Just to say, we're watching you. We're watching you, right? But siyabuka, siyancoma, siyakhwaba for the greatness that you are becoming, and how I wish that a whole lot more people from watching this episode can realize the importance of being centered in yourself, in your truth as well, because as I said, it's popular culture time right now, and what is popular is what sells, and to be popular you have to do certain things, and here you are, you haven't done none of those. You're comfortable in your skin and you're still pushing with all your might to make sure you get the things that you need to get. So let's sit, wait for the fruition of all your prayers as we pray along with you.
I receive.
Thank you.
I receive. Yeah. And thank you so much to you guys for inviting me to be here. It's such an honor. Earlier on, I couldn't really articulate myself when I was like, oh, wow, I was surprised, but I was excited, right? But now to explain it, it's to say, for me to receive an invitation from you guys is affirming in so many ways, because I look at you and I'm like, you guys are doing incredibly well. And I'm inspired by that. So if you can look at me and find inspiration in my strides, that's absolutely beautiful. So that's why it's an honor for me to be here, and I've honored your invitation. So thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Blessed.
Man. I know you as a fighter. Don't stop that.
Yeah.
Fight for what? No. She fights for what she believes in. She will fight for what she believes in.
You fighter.
I'm not a fighter.
Romantically so.
No.
Why am I laughing? I'm not even a part of this inside joke.
Like the whole room just cracked down.
I'm like, I might as well. It's my cue as well.
It's the moment that you're
Right now, I don't find this funny. So funny. But yeah, man, I love that about you. You know your worth. You know what you want.
But you know your worth. Good to you. Know your worth.
You don't rest you don't rest until you get the things ozfunayo. You know, I remember I had a conversation about you with someone. And I was like, she's 23. And look at what she has done. I think modest for what she has done already. Mnagla age with as Nancy accolades anazo, I'll be walking in the clouds. So let her be. If you guys can adjust, amba nofunda mhlawumbe bethwa ubudala nifunde ba italente kwenziwa njani kuthishwana njani nayo. So keep doing that. It works.
Thank you so much. Also, I want to say something also. Like, the other day I watched Young, Famous and African. And Beef Bonang and Kanye. What Kanye said was that she doesn't like Bonang because she can't figure her out. A lot of people don't like me because they can't figure me out. And that's my power.
It happens to the best of us.
That's my power. I love it so much because and your open book and your chomiyako. Like I can laugh with you, but you must not figure me out. So now might as well. Not to say that I don't need to explain myself. I'm such an amazing person, even if I can say so myself. Exactly. And
to move from here, you must pakama.
Yes. I remember, and that's getting but I remember, don't judge me for this. I remember in 2009 when umalume wam wayebuya eSuthwini. So kukolo tata wayemiyala. Esithi kuye bana rather kuthiwe uyaziqolisa apha elalini nento yoba ukuthiwa awuyonto. Rather kuthiwe uyaziqolisa. I'm not sure if you get what I mean. But I took that and I ran with it. And I'm like, rather uthi ndiyaziqolisa kunento yoba undijongele phansi. And I pride myself in saying that I take myself very seriously. And if that doesn't reflect kuwe, then is a offender londo yam.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say Mike offend because I'm not going to change who I am because I'm comfortable in who I am.
Unapologetic. Let's see you next time. Thank you very much.
It's been love. Thank you so much.
Yes.